Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Father Groove, and welcome back to yet another episode of Father Groove's Groovy Bass Podcast. And I'm here with a very unique bass player, a man by the name of Quitin Berry. Quitin plays his bass in a very unique position where it's upside down. You don't get that very often when you see bass players. And actually, when he flips into the regular playing, it's almost actually abnormal looking. So I'd like to welcome Quitin Berry to the podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you, thank you.
No, you're very, very welcome, dude. And just the idea that you play this super cool bass and you playing it in this unique position. So thank you for being with me, coming on, and this is actually awesome. So let's get into it. My first question to you is this: did you choose the bass or did the bass choose you?
I chose the bass. Um, the reason why I say this is because at 12, the first band I was in, the guys they asked me did I want to play guitar or bass, and I didn't know what a bass was.
Mm,
I didn't know what a bass was. I said I'll play bass because I didn't know what it was, and I started playing bass. I didn't have a bass, so I took when I figured out what it was, I took a regular guitar and put four strings on it, four heavy strings on it, and made it a bass until I was able to actually get a real bass. And my first real bass was like one of those Gibson, not the not the grabber, not the big grabber, but the
hmm
little.
You're the one that weighs like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was my first real bass.
Mm,
But
okay, that's
yeah,
interesting. So your first real bass was the Gibson. And you didn't know what a bass was when you first were playing this instrument. So you decided to take the guitar, put on four strings, and then that was it from there. You just kind of became the bass player.
yeah, I just started learning how to. Everything is self-taught, and from me
Wow.
watching other people do it, and but you have to understand during that time, I was taking music in school, so I played a, I wasn't a violinist, but I had that in the thing, and she taught us piano, so I had the conditioning of knowing what from my teacher, knowing what it's going to take to be good at something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
See, you had to practice. You had to do this. You had to do. So I already kind of had that in me just from in school.
okay.
But taking on the new instrument of a bass guitar was something different. It wasn't that hard. I guess it was kind of meant to be because before even bass and anything, I thought I was going to be a trumpet player because we had my sister had a trumpet, and I thought that was going to be it. And then my brother kind of got rid of
What did your
it.
brother do to What did your brother do to get rid of it? I hope he didn't. Hope he didn't
he,
just throw it in the garbage.
he pawned it.
He pawned the trumpet. Can I sell this? Can I get this trumpet pawn so I can get some candy?
But yeah, that was. But it wasn't like I was hurting or anything. I was still at
Mhm.
home, under my mom. But that's what transitioned that whole thing. But I chose bass guitar, and I took it to what the level that what I am with it today.
Mm. Okay, so you mentioned that you obviously had a musical family because you had a sister who played trumpet,
She was in
or
the she was in the band, and
okay,
that was it. My dad dabbled around with me. He just liked music, He just my father. He played congos. He just liked stuff.
okay,
He wasn't a true musician. He just
okay,
liked music. But my brother was just a music fan,
okay.
and my other sisters, there was I mean, I guess they just like music. I didn't get anything from them, but I got more from actually knowing that my sister played trumpet, and
Mm.
I would say I got more from my brother than anything because
You mean
when
the brother who pawned the trumpet?
yeah, because he was so into music, he turned me on to music that wasn't in the household, you know,
Mm.
like rock and stuff like that. Yeah, Three Dog
Okay.
Night. He got me listening to that because he had albums like that. So
Mm.
James Taylor, that was his stuff, and
Wow.
so that's how I dabbled into that. And but it's very interesting, even at a young age, and I start playing 12, 13. I was playing the bass like this, like normal, and then one day around I had to be about 13 or 14, I just decided to do this.
Mm.
And I just decided to do it. Nobody told me, and I would just walk around I think because in my neighborhood I would walk around the block, and I didn't have my strap, and I had to hold it, and I walk around the block just playing my bass. And everybody that knew me, they grew up. They said, "Yeah, there go Quentin. He walking around, walking
Mm.
around the block." So that started coming. Then I didn't think nothing of it. One trying to
Mm.
do nothing. One trying to prove nothing to nobody. Just a
Mm.
kid, just doing his thing. But when I got a little older and I started noticing the reaction,
Mm.
and so I just took it upon myself. And the words out of my dad's mouth that he always say, "If you're gonna do something, you better be good at it."
Mm. Okay.
You know, so I figure if I'm gonna try to play differently, I better know how to do this. So
Wow.
I just put the work in. That
Wow.
was it. And I had never seen nobody do it
No.
until I got older and started going to my first NAM show. I didn't realize because somebody just came up to me and said, "Man, you play like my buddy." I said, "Who is your buddy?" And he said, "Rudy Sarzo." I said, "Who is Rudy Sarzo?" And I didn't really know him then. I
Rudy's
just
going to appreciate this because I interviewed Rudy recently.
yeah, me and Rudy are buddies. I
Mm.
talked to
There it is.
yeah, and I was like, okay. And so then I saw him doing it, and then one day at a NAM show in Anaheim, I got to talk to him.
Mm. I lost it. I don't know what happened. I lost his feed. He'll be back on. Oh. All right. For those who are watching, we're having a bit of technical difficulties. Quentin's feed is actually lost. I will hopefully get him back shortly. So while he's gone, let me go single. Okay, I lost my My one follower. So I'll wait for him to get back on. Wait patiently. I'll just cut. I'll cut out a majority of this during the edit. The channel.
There we go.
You are back officially. You lost your feed for a second there.
Um, I was because a phone call tried to come in.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
That's what I was worried about the whole time, and
Okay,
so that's what I know. I think that's why I was asking about the iPad.
okay. Whichever one works. Because if you put your, do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
You can put it on Do Not Disturb. Because which I have mine on right now.
How
Once
do
you put
you
it on Do Not Disturb, it won't cut through.
how do I do that with me on with feed with me?
Um, well, let's do this. Let's see if we can go with it.
Okay. Okay.
Because I don't want to because the stream is on. So I know I took a note to where we cut it off. So I know that it went off at 10 minutes and some change, and I'll
Okay.
just I'll just delete that whole section out.
Okay.
All right, so let's pick up where the unique style and you played like similar to Rudy Sarzo, who I've
Hmm.
interviewed, and what a gracious, awesome dude.
Oh yes, I mean, his stories and talking to him, but we talked about. He talked about the way that I approached it. He said, "Man," he told me. He said, "Yeah." He said, "I do it, and I do it for show, and and I run around." And he said, "But you have taken it, and he said you just play like that." he
But
said
it's
he
true, you do. Like when you watch you play, when you play in normal position, it looks abnormal to watch you do that. You're like, what? I'm like, oh, he looks abnormal. Flying straight.
so and I cherish it, but I tell you, man, I have to exercise. I have a total gym. I have to do the arm stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
there's no not doing that,
Mm.
holding that base, especially as I'm older now, and blood circuit. I got to keep myself in decent physical
Well, no,
to
it's
be.
funny. I wanted to ask you about that too, as far as maintaining that technique, because it looks like it can be pretty torturous to hold that bass like that, and then you have to actually hit the notes correctly, maintain the rhythm. I'm like, don't you ever get to a point where your arm is like literally becoming numb?
Uh-uh.
Not at
Oh,
all.
no, not only time that I had a problem. The band I was in called the Ugly Stick. We did USO tours, and one tour we did Pearl Harbor,
Mm.
and for the troops. But we did a private event before we played at night, and I got sunburned, but I couldn't see that I got sunburned.
Oh wow.
I have no, I mean, I had one of these type shirts on with the sleeves cut,
Hmm.
but and my arm just got burned. But I didn't know the night that we played, dude. This whole arm, you see how it is now.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
all this just rose up. It was just, it was ridiculous. I had to drop my arm. It
Whoa.
it was a big knot, like a big knot, and the drummer saw it happening. He was going, "What?" And I just didn't know. And the guys that from Hawaii, they brought me this drink, and they say, "Drink this and drink some water behind it. Drink this and drink some water behind
Hmm.
it." I did that and kept my arm down and played with one hand. And then in about 30 minutes, it went down. It went away.
Really?
Yeah, I was like sunburned and probably dehydrated and didn't know it.
Wow. That's absolutely crazy. And you didn't feel any pain
Nope,
in your
nope,
arm.
no pain. I just saw that happening. I wasn't like, oh, this hurts so bad. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just a trip to see my my arm transforming. It's like I was turned into the Hulk or something. I
You
mean,
don't you don't like me when I'm angry. I play bass much more intense. If you see me like that, you
but
don't like me when I'm an angry bass player.
but that's what happened, man. I remember that just as clear as can be.
Wow.
But
And that was
that was
I'm
the
sorry,
only
I'm sorry, go ahead.
that was the only time. But I have my wrists and stuff have they bothered me
Hmm.
early when I was a little bit younger, probably in
Sure.
my probably in my 30s. But then I didn't know how to. I wasn't thinking how to take care of myself. You know,
Okay.
so I was just doing stuff. But then as I got older, I started figuring out stuff to take for my joints. I have had no problems whatsoever.
Wow. Even now at your older age, you're still solid in that way.
I'm solid. I
Good for
I
you.
I do D3 K2. All the stuff for your joints.
All the essentials.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and because I have to, I go to a chiropractor.
Okay.
Because, but I just I just do, man. I don't do no real high intensity exercises, but I do use my total gym to stretch my own limbs out.
Okay.
And when I'm walking every day, I'm doing this.
Okay.
I'm doing all this stuff. So that's all I do. But I have
Okay.
not had any problems.
Well, it's interesting that you're talking about that, and we'll briefly talk about the idea of I call it avoiding the sit down bass player syndrome because you get a lot of basses and they get older and they end up sitting down. Yeah, that becomes something where you look and go, yeah, my goal is to never end up there. And especially when you're a dynamic player like yourself, and I like to run around on stage. So I stretch to make sure that I do not end up in that position where I'm sitting down all day. So that's
Well,
something that's very essential. Like, so you obviously work on that.
yeah. And speaking of sitting down, I, I doing my solo gig, I do sit down, but
Okay.
I started sitting down because I wasn't feeling right, and
Mm,
I couldn't figure it out, and it took a while, and then finally I got really sick one day, and then got sick at the gig, and then they found out what it was, and
okay.
it was an appendix thing, man. Can
Oh
you believe
wow.
it? Yeah.
Oh,
So, but I was sitting down, but then I found myself too comfortable sitting down.
when you say
And
too comfortable, what do you mean by that?
uh, just like you just said, you don't want to ever have to sit down. I
Mm,
always said that I didn't want to sit down. And I ended up sitting down because I play usually my gigs, man. And what I do, I take one break out of the whole from 8 to 12. I'll take one 30-minute break.
whoa, that's a long run. You're talking a 4
Yeah.
hours. You'll do your half hour.
I'm,
Man, you're
I'm,
working.
uh,
You're working harder than James Brown at that time.
I
Hours.
don't know what made me do it. I just started doing it, and you know, I'm just kind of old school with it in my head.
Mhm.
My thing is when I do gigs and I have gigs, I don't want nobody to come up to me and say nothing but, "Man, you do a good job.
Sure, sure.
I like what you do." Anything else, I really don't want to hear.
Okay, that makes sense.
So so I try to do the best that I can
Hmm.
and I don't put myself no better than nobody else. I'm thankful that I'm able to do that and get away with it. But now I say, you know what? I'm using a cable. I think I need to go ahead. So I went on ahead and bought. I already had wireless. I broke them out and started using them again.
Hmm.
And now that I'm walking every day,
Isn't wireless liberating?
Yeah,
Isn't it? It's so liberating. It really is.
and now I'm standing up again a lot more than what I was. I still
Hmm.
have the seat there because I played for so long. So I just kind of flop back and forth. So, but I do stand up more than I have doing my solo thing. And I want to eventually get back. But I was standing up when I first started, but I wasn't playing real long like you know. I would
Okay.
do I'll play an hour, take a break
Sure. Sure.
and do that. But man, and here in the South, they tip. They I really wasn't into tips because I just my money is always guaranteed anyway,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
so I'm cool with that. But once I notice what tip does, I'm like, okay, this is crazy, and I just start playing longer and longer, and the tips will be. I mean,
Mm,
it's like nonstop.
wow.
So
So
go
that
ahead.
works to your advantage. When you say so you're saying the longer you play, the more theatrical you are, because obviously there's more performance attached to that. Then you get more tips.
Yeah, it it
Mm.
it never fails. But I have a house gig and I have a solo gig. Now it's gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be some days that it might not be nothing there, but I'm not
Mm.
worried about that.
Mm.
I would say that's a bonus because
Mhm.
I'm getting paid. A guarantee, but I still do it. But it's still people come up. They go like, man, you don't. Do you ever stop? But I like hearing that. And
Mhm.
then a lot of them will come up. They say, dude, you might want to teach this to some of these guys that come in here and just take breaks and they just be gone forever
Mm.
and don't come back. I said, well, the point is to perform, is to play.
Yeah.
I've got a time limit. I'm gonna use it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I'm gonna play. I'm gonna perform. I don't drink. I don't smoke.
Same here.
So I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be spent. I didn't come there to make money to give it back to you.
Mm.
So so so
Joel, I hate to say it, a lot of musicians do that. You're playing and then you're drinking.
yeah.
What's that scene in the Blues Brothers where they say to the band, "Well, y'all drink like $5,000 worth of beer, and we paid you like $300. You owe us like $4,700."
Yeah. I'm just and I don't talk bad about nobody because I I remember when I was young. I remember when I started. I remember everything that I did. I remember watching everybody. And the cool thing is I got to be around grown-ups at 12. I got
Mm,
I got to be in bars at 12
wow.
around grown-ups, so I got to see everything. So and I know how they reacted towards me
Mm,
because I was young and how
you
they
were
talk.
young.
Yeah, so I remember all of that. So at my age now, I don't. You would never hear me. Oh, they suck. I'm not gonna say that.
Mm,
Yeah, I say, what you think about that man? They doing what they do. I guess, if they like it, I'm happy for them. But
mm.
you're not gonna hear me say they suck because
Yeah.
they could just be getting started. They
Sure.
hadn't
Sure.
found
Sure.
they hadn't found their niche yet.
Yeah.
I'm just not that guy. I just don't do that. If you're trying to be a musician, I'm on your team.
Sure. Sure.
That's
Also, bear in mind, music is subjective. Like what I can think something sucks, and someone else likes it. At the end of the day, you know,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and
So your opinion means nothing. I mean, yeah, your opinion is your opinion.
yeah,
But if you
that's
like it, what does it matter? And I've had a bar. They're dancing to your music. They're dancing to the band. They're enjoying it. They're drinking. They're having fun. They're putting money in the bar till. What they suck. They're making the bar money. And people are dancing. That
Yeah,
would be kind of silly to throw that out there.
you can't go on all of that kind of stuff, man. It's just I'm gonna give you one better than that.
Hmm.
This was early '80s. I was I was in North Carolina somewhere playing in a cover band, and this guy came up to me. He said, "Man," this is exactly what he said. He said, "Man, I don't really listen to your kind of music, and your kind."
Yeah. What's define your kind of music?
Well, you know where I'm going with this. He
Sure.
he he said, "I don't listen to that your kind and that kind of music." He said, "But boy, you sure dang good on that damn guitar." and then he said, and then, I mean, I'm going like, okay, I can't get mad at
Yeah.
that.
Like, what do you say to that? You kind of look and go, all right. Yes.
I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all this." But you know what he meant when he said,
Oh,
y-
you're going up there. You sound really good. Your kind of music, but you're really good.
but the funny thing is, I was the only black in the band.
Mm,
So you get where I'm going with it. So
sure.
so
How's he playing your kind of music when you're the only black guy in the band?
it was that was the only way he could probably come up and approach me and say what he had to say
Mhm.
without
Without dropping the N bomb?
yeah, without saying what he really wanted to say. But out of all of it, he still complimented me. He said, "Damn, you really good on that thing."
Hmm.
So to me, I won
Mm,
because
yeah, that's a good point.
he I didn't get an attitude. I was just listening to him till seeing him all the way through.
Hmm.
And music does that.
Yes, yes,
That's what
yes.
music does. So I mean, once I figured that out, I knew that if I stayed good at true to what I am and do whatever I do, I could weed in and out of
Answer the
space.
door. I'm on the podcast. Answer the door. My apologies. Go ahead.
No, no, I can weed in and out of spaces. So and it's true. I'm trying to write a book right now about my whole life of being a musician from 12 and on. And I'm doing a pretty good job. If I could get the P out of it, you know what I mean, off my forehead.
I hear you. No, dude. I totally hear where you're coming from.
So but I thought it would be easy to do, but it's not because I keep think things keep popping up.
Mm,
Things keep coming up, and I haven't been back home to see my sisters. As soon as I do that, I know there are a lot of pictures that I don't have,
mm,
and the people that I know that grew up with me early in the early stages of my career,
mhm,
they got a lot to say, and I want to interview them about.
mm.
I want to get a whole nother perspective on what's going to be in this book, not just from my head, even through them.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: when did you decide that you wanted this to be a full time career? Because obviously you have a unique play style of playing. You're playing since you were young. But when did you make that decision to say, you know something, I can make a living doing this?
um, starting at 12, playing bass and playing in nightclubs, band called Brown Sugar. We played. I mean, I was already doing it and didn't know it. So I'm playing bars, making money, playing bars with grown-ups, and at the end of I say about and traveling. So about 13, 14, I went to see this band, and that's what sealed the deal for me. And I'm going to tell you who this band is. Around 14, I went to see this band at the Electric Warehouse. I had never seen anything like it in my life.
Okay.
This band, and to this day, this guy, we're friends. This band was called Mother's Finest.
Oh my God, yes. Oh yes. They don't get enough due. They don't get enough respect in the industry. Most
Yeah.
finance is so awesome. Wow.
So when I saw that, I said, you know what? Yeah, I think I could do this. So, but I was already playing, and I was doing a lot of gigs around home and stuff like that. And it started working out. The band became really popular. We were traveling, and guess who he came to? He was auditioning to get bands, and we were one that he came to see, and it was People Bryson, and
Whoa.
people
You
people
mean the R&B crooner was digging on your music?
people went to school with my brother and my
Okay.
sisters. So we all from Greenville, South Carolina. But
Okay.
he was, our band was popular and he had heard about it. So
Okay.
he went and came to see if it might be, but nothing came of it because he moved to Atlanta,
Okay.
and after that he blew up, you know. But
Wow.
so as far as did I want to make a career of it, I was already doing it and didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing
Mm.
I was playing nightclubs, traveling, doing that. They got my permission from my parents because our manager was a school teacher. So
Mm. Okay.
so he made sure that they all made sure that I didn't do nothing stupid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
Well, let me ask you this. On top of that, sorry for interrupting you. When did you get paid? When you first actually handed money for your services?
12,
You were 12 years old.
yeah, but I'm
Like,
pretty sure they've given me whatever they want.
you're probably pocketing some of that money. Yeah, he's 12. Just give him like $20. He'll be fine.
That I'm for real. That's yeah. That's
Yep.
about what it was going on, and I didn't have no bills or nothing, so I'm doing what I need to do. So it wasn't no big
True.
deal. But at the same time, I kid you not. Say as I got older and in high school and then getting ready to graduate and stuff like that, if I needed money to go do something, the manager always he say, "Here, man, go do what you got to do." It wasn't no question, I mean, if I needed it, they had it for me.
Oh wow.
So it was, even though I was getting paid this, they still always took care of me.
Oh wow. Okay. So
So
you started off young,
yeah,
and as far as receiving money,
yeah.
that's awesome.
So I don't have nothing to get mad about or complain about because I don't do drugs today because they didn't allow it.
Good for
So
you.
by the time I was 18 and had the choice to make my own decision in traveling
Mhm.
out, I'm going like, I don't think I'm gonna change. I think I'm gonna stay just like that. because
Wow.
being out on the road, that's not your family. You don't know these people,
That's true.
and so it was easy. It was like I was set up in the universe for some funny way to not do drugs, to just play music, to be good. I almost feel like I was set up to be who I am right now,
Mm, that's pretty
and
awesome.
I'm not mad at that because I'm pretty sure it saved me a tons of money,
Well,
and
yeah.
and there we go. So
Well, think about it like this: most bands fail financially for what reason? The primary reason is drugs, alcohol, and sex with women. They all think sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And, if you think about that, that's what kills everybody. Whether you die younger or whether you go bankrupt, in that sense.
I I was still lucky, especially when it came to the sex world. I got away with a lot of shit. Excuse me. It was at a starting at a young. That's 12. I kid you not. 12, 13. That's when it happened. After
Mhm.
13, you got to. I'm 13 and I'm sleeping with women way older than me,
Mm.
and nobody knows this stuff. I'm telling you now because it don't really matter. But
Well, now you're older.
yeah,
The skeletons, they can come out of the closet now. No one
yeah.
no one
but
cares.
yeah, but I learned from that. I learned, and I tell you what, you know, I could say I wouldn't change a thing, but then again, I probably would. But what I learned, and I can honestly say that 95, I might as well say it, 95% of my learnings and everything that I do, and I learn, especially dealing with money, I learned from women. It wasn't no man. Women, which because they were older, they were telling me things and showing me things. I'm going like, damn, I know you could do this. Yeah.
Mm.
And then when it came to putting money in the bank account and all that, that's my older sister. She
Okay.
she came and she said, "Where you get that money from?" I said, "Out on the road." She said, "Let me see it." She took it. She said, "I'll see you tomorrow." she she took she took my money and came back and got me and took me to the bank, and
Uh-huh.
that's when I first opened up my first
Oh,
bank
okay.
account.
Your
So
sister almost feels like a bass playing. She's like the pimp for the pimpette for the bass player. Give me your
yeah,
money, I'll take care of it.
yeah. So like I said, but it's traveling and sleeping with a lot of women and doing all the crazy stuff, you know. But and I start having, as I got older, and then when I finally met somebody and got my feelings hurt,
Mm.
I stopped doing that.
Mm. You understood what you found out what love was like, and then you
Yeah,
got your heart broken.
yeah. As soon as it hit the heart, and I know what it felt like to be hurt, I stopped doing it.
Mm. So you needed that ass whooping for the moment.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there we go. And now, you know, it's still kind of the same. Except I've been married twice,
Hmm.
and now I'm dating somebody that's a lot older than me, and she laughed at me because she said, "You still dating older women?" you know, I go like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," but
Wow.
even dating her, even at my age now, it's something about her that keeps me on my toes.
Really? And she's older.
Yeah, because
If you don't mind me asking you, how old are you now?
I'm 62. I'll be 63.
Dude, I thought you were younger. I thought you were younger than 60. I didn't think you were 60s.
Yeah, I'll be 63 October,
Wow.
Halloween. And
Congratulations. And you're still here.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, she's 71.
Hmm.
She just turned 71. She runs marathons. She does. I mean, I have. She has a lot of friends. I have. I'm going like. She just don't stop.
Wow.
And I'm going like, I know, but she likes me because I'm reasonable.
Yeah.
I'll talk to her. She said, I can say anything to you because you're not judgmental. I said, I'm not gonna do that.
Mm.
I mean, what am I gonna say to you that's gonna?
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
run, you keep yourself in good shape too much? Like, what do you say?
yeah. I said I can't do that. I mean, look at us. We at our age. What is that? That, that
Mm.
that ain't nothing. You don't do that.
No,
You
no, no,
you
no.
you just support what somebody does and listen to what somebody says
Hmm.
and go with it. If you don't think it's a good idea, you could tell them that, hey, that might not be a good idea, but it's up to you if you want to.
Hmm.
If you do it, I still got your back. It ain't
Right.
no nothing bad about it.
Hmm.
That's the way I approach life.
Awesome. Now, she obviously supports your music endeavors.
Oh, she is she is all on me.
Mm.
Uh, We just did a reunion. The band that I was talking about, the Ugly Sick, we broke up 14 years, 15 years ago.
Okay.
We just did a reunion this past Saturday for a
Oh, wow.
benefit
Hmm.
for a guy that around Mobile. He's a bouncer. Everybody knows him. He had a heart problem and he had to go in and he still can't work
Oh,
because
wow.
he's fine, but he can't work.
Hmm.
But the band got together. She said, "I've never seen you." She said, "I've only seen you in solo." And she said, "And you've taken me. I've taken her to see um, Quiet Riot.
Oh,
I've
wow.
taken because Rudy, he had me passes. I've taken her to see Living Color because they had me passes. I'm hanging out with everybody." She said, "How do you know all these people?" I said,
Wow.
I know a lot of people. I just don't act like But she
You're
had
not you're not showboating. You're not a name dropper. Sounds like.
yes. So she had never seen me band wise. She
Hmm.
seen me set in with bands and play a song or two with somebody. But she always said, she said, "Wow." She said, "When you do that, it's something different." she
Wow.
she said you like it says she says like you light up.
Mm.
So she said, "I know you're doing your solo thing," but she's always on me about singing my own music.
Mm.
Because
Okay.
I have tons of music out, original music. She say you should sing more of your own stuff. That's the type of person she is. She don't
Wow.
know a lot about music. She just knows what she thinks that I should be doing.
But the fact that she's saying that she's a keeper. Don't ever get rid of her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look. She sounds like she's really really good to deal with. That's
Oh,
awesome.
and so she saw me do the benefit thing. Dude, the place was sold out,
Mm.
and and she said, "Oh my God," she said, "I have never." She said, "I didn't know that y'all were like this."
Wow.
I tell you what, bro. I realized how out of shape I was
Compared to her as a runner, I'm gonna say yes.
because I did I had to stand up the whole time, and
Mm.
on the last song of the show, we did all originals, but we did two covers.
Mhm.
But at the last song, we did Cult of Personality. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I'm singing it with Eric. Boy, at the end of that song, brother caught a cramp right here, and, I had to stop singing. I'm walking across the stage, and I know Eric looking at me going, "Dude, what you doing?" But he ain't say nothing. But he could see it, and I come back around. Then we end the song. But afterwards, he said, "Key, what happened?" I said, "Man, I caught a cramp. There's no way I was breathing or saying another. I had,
Mm.
I had to mentally make it not even cramp up more while I was playing, performing live.
Wow.
So nobody would know that that's what's going on with me because this has happened to me before.
Mm. Mm.
Earlier on, I have asthma,
Okay.
so I have to be careful. And I'm going like, okay, we're not doing that no more.
Mm.
I'm older.
Mm.
I can move around and jump around and do all that, and that won't bother me. But
Mhm.
trying to sing and do that, I can't do.
Mm. Okay.
I'm not in that good of shape to be trying to do that.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
So and now I know what I need to do. So now I'm doing these exercises and I'm doing more. I'm adding to what I'm doing now
Okay.
because
Awesome.
I want to get the mix session down just a little bit more.
You always want to keep our midsection down. That's
Yeah,
yeah. That's the tough part.
yeah. So, but that's about it. No complaints. But that's what happened to me Saturday night.
Wow.
But everybody's going like, "Man, oh my, y'all, you ain't lost a beat, you ain't." But they, most people have no idea of what it takes to do this.
Of course. It's like you're almost. I hate to say it like this, but you're like an athlete. in a lot of ways. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. And I learned that at a younger age with a couple of the musicians that I met. The lead singer actually, he will always go to the gym. I said, "Why you go to?" I said, "You always in the gym." He said, "Yeah, I gotta exercise. I gotta
yeah,
keep my lungs good. You know,
yep,
I gotta look." And I didn't understand that till
yep.
got a little older. Yeah, that's so true.
Cardio, cardio in your leg strength. I was watching a podcast, and his doctor was talking about the key elements to making so that you live longer. And the third one you'll never guess because it was heart. Everyone thinks it's heart, lungs. Everyone thinks it's your brains. It's not your brains. It's your legs.
And these big quads right here,
Yep, it's your
and
legs.
that's why. And I came across that because I do some Asian herbs and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and I came across this video and they were talking. This Asian lady was talking about. She said, "If you keep anything in shape, you better keep those big legs in shape.
Yep.
That'll keep you there." And and I was going like, I used to jump rope and I used to do all this, and I ain't had none of those. So I'm gonna try little bit by little and go back to that.
Yeah. Keep your quads strong. I'm always doing at least once a week. I'm always doing a full leg workout, and then second part I'll do once a week, usually on a Sunday, full leg workout, and then like Wednesday, just the leg extensions, all light stuff. I'm a martial artist. I practice doing high kicks, just so that on a stage I can still be flexible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's key. All right, let's go into this is now the time where we go into your forest of bases. So let's see what you got.
Well, this is my baby right here. Stuart Spector made this. This is a Quentin Berry bass. This is a signature.
Mm,
This is a signature. This is a NS4. Oh no!
yep, you're good.
But it said low battery on the phone.
Mm,
Uh, but this is and it's got the Q and everything in it.
yep.
It is dope, man. I love this bass. I don't play it as much as I should, but
Mm,
I got this one, and this was the this was the first one that he made specially for me. You notice the knobs at the top.
yes, look at that. Woo. It's like a
Yeah,
lefty.
yeah.
Put the
So
knob on the top. Wait, hold that again. Hold that to the camera again. I want people to see that. Like that's super cool.
Stewart
Wow.
said he would never make another one.
Wow.
So this is the only one. He made it for me because of the way that I play. See, nothing's in the
Hmm.
way.
Wow.
So, oh, sorry about that.
No, no, no worries.
Um,
I noticed that you use three fingers as well. Like you're not locked into our conventional two finger bass playing.
no, I can use three, but it's it looks like it looks like three, but it's mainly these two.
Okay. Okay.
It's mainly these two. Now, in as far as the technique go, just because of slapping, most people do with their thumb.
You sure?
When I do it, let me see if I can. When I do it, I have to. It's basically all of this.
Mm. Oh, okay. So that explains it.
So you know how you get your pluck?
Sure, sure.
It's this.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow. Dude,
that's
that's crazy.
so that's how I. But it took. it took a while. Let me hold on for 1 second.
Sure.
This, not to sound morbid or anything, but I'm gonna be cremated, and this is the base they're gonna use. They're gonna take my ashes and repaint this base.
Mm, that's gorgeous.
So this is one that they made. Now these pickups, and I can honestly say it, and you can hear it from Stuart Spector himself.
Hmm.
I was the first person to ever get white EMG pickups made.
Mm,
They made the guy that made them. He passed away, but
hmm.
he when I got this bass, I told him I wanted some white EMG. He said we don't. He said we've been thinking about it. He said I'm gonna make some for you, and
Wow.
I got the first humbucker white pickups ever made from EMG put in this
Wow.
bass. I'm so, but I mean, you could probably get them from anywhere now,
Hmm.
But I'm at least for in the specters, and I was going like, this is crazy, and
Wow.
and people going like, how are you getting all this stuff? I said, man, I don't know. I'm just nice. I just be nice, and I just do my thing.
Mm,
That's it. I keep a I said, but you gotta understand, I'm with the same companies.
hmm.
I've been with the same people for a long time.
Wow.
I don't hop around. I
So you're the
learned
definition of brand loyalty.
I learned that from my friend Marty Harrison earlier on when I was a kid, before I went to NAM.
Hmm.
He explained to me about NAM. And
Mm,
he explained to me the things to not do.
mm.
And he said don't do this and don't do that. He said reason why I'm telling you this is because most people don't know that most of these bass makers, they all know each other.
That's true. Yep.
And you trying to flip flop, and so, but I experienced it for myself, and I've seen a lot of other people do it. But here's my thing: even though he told me that, I still made up my mind how I wanted to approach it.
Hmm.
And the way that I see it is, I'm thankful that they gave me the basis.
Sure.
On the flip side, I mean, they can't make my money for me. I mean, I got to go out and make my own money. I got to. That's my work that I got to do. I'm thankful that they gave me. So why would I? I mean, you got to know what I would say. If anybody had any advice, they would say, "Well, what's your name advice? Know what you want and stick to it."
Mm,
And that's it. I get people left and right. Hey man, come check out my bases. I say, yeah, cool. I'll check them out. But you know that I'm with Spectre. Yeah, I said, well, okay, as long as you know that.
okay.
And,
Okay.
and then I'll just go check. I won't diss them. I'll just go check them out. I said, oh man, that's really cool. I said,
Hmm.
I got some friends that might wanna. You know what I mean?
Mm, okay. So you'll almost refer them. But have you ever been in a position where you were tempted, where something felt so good, where you were like, this feels almost something that I would fall in love with? Never.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Good for you.
You gotta. I came from an Olympic base to Spectre.
Mm, whoa.
I still have my Olympic bases.
Mm,
So once I found them, and then I liked what they were doing, and it was a business thing with me. I'm going like, okay, Stuart and them, they can plaster my face everywhere, and their bases sound good. I mean, what do I have to lose?
that's true. That's true. You're right about that.
And then so I went with that, and I've been with that ever since, and I haven't steered away. But of course, there are a lot of bases. I didn't even get a chance to go to this last NAM because I was stuck in Alabama from a snowstorm. We couldn't leave.
That's right. You had a snowstorm in January. Yes, I
Yeah,
do remember that.
yeah,
Yep.
I couldn't get there.
Mm,
So, but seeing the pictures, I'm going, boy, they sure do have a lot of bass companies out there now.
Yeah,
And I
I went this year. That's where I met Rudy, by the way. My first time. I met him at NAM
yeah,
2025. Yeah.
but now being with Spectre, still, and Stuart sold the company. They sent me a newer bass, and this is the newest one that they sent me. Even
Wow.
though I have a lot more, this is the Pulse 2,
That is gorgeous.
and it it took me a while to get used to it.
Hmm.
But what I really love about this bass,
Hmm.
bro, you talking about light.
Wait, hold it up again. And also, while we're talking, while I love those blue strings, what kind of strings are on your bass?
These are Aurora strings
Okay.
by Aurora. That's what I use, Aurora strings.
Okay.
And
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
yeah, I've been with the string company for a long time.
Okay.
Everything that I have, I've been with. I once I like it, I mean, I don't jump around. I just stay with what I got.
Once you like them, you like them. You don't fix what's not broken.
Yeah, and it's since the pandemic. I mean, they used to give me everything, but then they say, "Man, we can't do that no more." I said, "That's no problem." I
Hmm.
said, "I'm not. I'm thankful for what I've gotten." So
And you have great stuff. It's not like you don't have a Hondo. Like you don't you're not doing
yeah,
Hondo's bases. You have great equipment.
I
So
have.
them telling you that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm thankful, man.
Mhm.
I have nothing to complain about.
Awesome. What do you use for amplification? Get out of the way, thing. What do you use for amplification?
Huh?
Amplification, like what kind of amplifiers you use?
Oh, GK.
All GK?
All GK, baby. I've been with GK for a long time. GK
Mm,
GK is my way.
mm. Wow, that's
E-
cool.
Even on my solo stuff, this is what I use with my solo stuff. But yeah,
Wow.
I'm
And that
I'm
is that a preamp or is that like
yeah,
describe
yeah,
that to
that
me
yeah, it's a Plex.
in case of
It
Plex.
and it has all the different GK amp settings, head settings and
That's cool.
it's a really cool thing. I mean,
Nice.
all of my I don't I just kind of put everything up, but I have like one, two, three, four, five, six. I have like seven different cabinets configured
Wow.
of GK. So yeah, and three different heads.
Okay, so you can plug that now. That's primarily for studio, or you can use that for live as well.
I
You can
use
go
it.
either way.
Yeah, I use it for live. You can use it in the studio, but I use the Plex. I use the Plex on the Pulse bass.
Okay.
It helps it. It gives me what I really want because the Pulse bass is not made like the other ones.
Okay.
The other ones are more expensive and they have a different type of sound. They
Got it.
don't. They don't need that.
Okay.
But the um the Pulse, it still sounds good. But when I put that preamp on it, go through the preamp, I can fatten it up and it'll sound like the other ones.
Mm. Oh wow. Okay.
So I have to do that to it. But I mean, it's still a good sounding bass. But
Okay.
it's not like the other ones. The other
Wow.
ones I can just plug in and bam.
Yep.
But I don't know if it's all my basses are neck through except for the Pulse.
Interesting.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with the sound. Probably so.
It probably does. Like just funny because at this year's NAM, they had these Argentinian manufacturers. Those basses sounded so good. And I just said to myself, like, what the hell is going on with the water and the trees and the wood down there? Because one after the next, they just sounded. And I was playing mostly 5 and 6 strings, but they just sounded so good. So, and then 99% of them were through necks, straight through. And I realized, I said, it's got to be in the wood, the wood sound there. It just sounded so awesome. But I still wouldn't break away from my Music Man and my G&Ls and my Fender Jazz. I still go back. I always gravitate back to Fender DNA. That's what
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
I'm a Fender
okay.
DNA. G&L, Music Man, and jazz basses. Yep. So it's crazy stuff in that way. Yep. All right. My one final question to you is this: what advice would you give to an up and coming musician who wants to get into it? Because you got into it nice and young. You were a good guy. You were a good young dude. All of a sudden, here you are, a full time player. So, what advice would you give to a young player?
Well, my advice would be, I mean, if you really want to get into music, the first thing would be is to go out and watch people perform and watch them play. Ask some questions if you can, and see. And if you're already playing and you're trying to actually get out there, go to the jam nights that they have, the open mic nights and stuff where people, anybody can get up and just play. They have a lot of that going on in the world, and it's free. You just get up and play a song with somebody. That do that kind of stuff. They didn't have that kind of stuff when I was little, but
Mm,
but I would say do that, and the difference between when we grew up and now, I mean, you got the internet, you got a lot of stuff that can teach you
mm,
about music,
mm-hmm.
and can warn you and tell you things that could possibly happen. But here's the flip side of that: you're not gonna really know unless you get your feet wet.
Let's get your feet wet. That's true. Awesome.
So that's about it.
Awesome. Quentin Berry, live on Follow Groove's Groovy Bass podcast. I want to thank you very much for taking on this interview so quickly. So I'm just happy to have you here. I'm happy to have this conversation. I'm happy to actually learn about your ridiculously awesome technique because you and Rudy, but then like you said, you bring it to the next level. I didn't realize. I always thought it was the three fingers you were strumming with, and meanwhile it's actually two. But
It's
still,
yeah.
yeah. And then your slap technique, where you said you're kind of spreading your fingers a little bit, and you're actually doing the pluck, and then you're hitting it. That now that answered it answered the question of how the hell does he do that? And there it is. Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're
It's
very
great.
welcome.
Yep. Okay. Hold on. Pause. Okay. Now I'm gonna have you. Hey everyone. If you can hold the new bass with the bright blue strings on it. So while you're saying it, so you're gonna give a tag. Hey everyone. I'm Quentin Berry, professional bass player, and you're watching Father Groove's Groovy Bass Podcast. Keep it low. Keep thumping. Whatever you want to say behind that. After that. So it would be.
Say that again.
Hey everyone, it's Quentin Berry, professional bass player, and you're watching Father Groove's Groovy Bass Podcast.
Okay, Father Grooves. Okay,
Your
okay.
Father Groove's Groovy Bass Podcast, and you can say add on whatever you want. You can say keep it low, maintain the low tones, keep thumping, whatever the case might be. All right, and action.
Hey everybody, this is Quentin Berry, bass player. You are watching Father Groove's Groovy Bass Pod. You know what? Keep it low, keep it funky, keep it real.
That was cool. Do another one, but this time say podcast. I'll tell you when. And action.
Hey everybody, this is Quentin Berry, bass player, having fun on Father Groove's Groovy Podcast.
Okay, and cut. Me in the stream.